right, so apologies in advance. You'll probably see in like your feed, the live stream, and then the patch like from the actual stream itself, right? Like the full breakdown of that, and then this video, it's hell. I'm sorry for that in advance, but what they did is they published all the news in one day. So there's a lot of news coming soon, and there's a lot of secret things that I just found out, which is super exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to share it with you, but I have so much to get through first, so here we go. This is the Nikke skill introduction for Snow White, which is, again, the New Year's Pilgrim. Let's talk about it today. New to the channel, like and subscribe, it helps out a ton. I just want to say thank you all for tuning into the stream. I believe we peaked at like 1,000 viewers. It was insane. Truly appreciate everybody who super chatted. Truly thank you all for that, and it's just like, thank you for being there. Thank you for talking with us. It was a very different audience, per se, compared to a Saturday stream, so a lot of new people got to talk to. I had a blast. And I want to thank you again for being there. And yeah, let's get into it. No more delays. Snow White uses SR7 dwarves 1 and 2. Snow White Heavy Arms is an attacker whose full charge attacks deals damage to multiple enemies. While her burst skill increases her charge time, it significantly boosts her attacking capabilities and number of targets, allowing her to deal more damage. We have the video, which we'll go through in a second, and we have the full kit reveal. Get ready to get your thinking caps on. I tried my best to break this down a little bit. I read it into it because I knew I'm not being able to like compile 3 pages of info this quick or like understand it. So I wrote down like a little bit of a thought process, which I'll share with you. So you guys have that on top of this, but it's a very long kit. This is 3 pages. If you want to say something, this is power creep at its finest because they power creeped words. The English language has been power creeped. There's so much here to read. So we'll get to this in a second. First, we do the video as always. Take a look. I will say that a lot of players like had an opinion like, hey, Snow White doesn't look that good. Sadly, I'm a Snow White fan, so I can't hate on her. I know the players want her knees and such, but I'm kind of excited for what Snow White has to offer. It took 3 years to wipe out the Cloak Devil, so we now have caked up Snow White. The funny thing is, this year, you've had 2 different artworks from a collab like thing for Nikke that showed the same top on Snow White. So we would have known about this like 3 months ago. It's sad, but that's it. And she's been like showing her abs more and more in like their artworks. It's funny, but this is the Snow White we ended up getting. If you see the video over here, it's insane. She literally is just a nuclear unit. Like the first Snow White is just like drop an absolute nuke and like hard like single target damage. This one looks to be like, and then the second Snow White drops like a barrage of missiles on everybody. This one is just like hard nukes on everybody. Look, it takes this time. And it locks on to all targets on the screen. It maxes at 7 because the 7 targets on the screen out of 15. You max, and then once you max, you unleash that nuke on everybody. What the? What? That is so cool. So, at least the concept of creeping it, like in that case, that sounded hella weird, is 1 single target burst that does hella damage to 1 target. Second, Small White was multiple targets, but just like singular damage that's like, you know, whatever. And this one is just multiple nukes at one time. So it's pretty much that Snow White, just multiple. The first Snow White, but multiple. Nukes, that is. Nukes. Over here, though, it should crop, so there you go. It might not crop properly, so I'll zoom out 1. Snow White Heavy Arms, Goddess, Attacker. Oh, Goddess. Huh. Oh, well, there you go. Burst Skill 3, Sniper Rifle, Water, Ammo Capacity 6, 2, 69%, 1.2, 29, 50, 200. Yeah. So, okay. Activates every 0.2 seconds while charging. Affects the enemy unit nearest to the crosshair that is not in lock-on status. Lock-on. Function is designates the enemy as a target of 7 dwarves. Max lock-on targets is 5. Removal condition. Performing a normal attack or taking cover will stop that removal of lock-on. Activates every 0.2 seconds while charging. Affects self. Auto fire ready. Function is loads 7 dwarves with ammo. The effect is defense up by 42.24% continuously. The max ammo loaded by auto fire ready is 5. The removal condition is by performing a normal attack. Activates every 0.2 seconds while charging. Affects all enemies in lock-on status. Damage taken is 4.2% for 4 seconds. Activates when attacking with full charge. Auto fire. Function. Attacks lock-on targets with 7 doors. It deals 41.9% of final attack as damage. It affects all enemies. Effect 2 is 105% of final attack as damage. It affects the lock-on targets and attacks sequentially based on the amount of ammo loaded by auto fire ready. Activates when attacking with full charge while in 7 doors fully active status. It affects self. The number of uses of 7 doors fully active goes down by 1. Activates when performing a normal attack. Affects self if not in full burst. Then it removes 7 doors fully active. A lot to read. I'll break it down once I go through the whole kit because it all goes hand in hand and you'll understand that in a second. Activates at the start of battle. Affects self. Fixes charge at 1.2 seconds continuously. Activates during full charge. Affects self. Gains pierce for 5 seconds. The attack is up by 46.84% for 5 seconds. Your damage to parts is up by 62.64% for 5 seconds. It activates when entering burst stage 3. It affects self. Attack goes up by 73.92% for 10 seconds. Activates when it full charge only while in 7 doors fully active status. Affects self. Charge damage goes up by 528% for 1 round. And then again, sequentially attack 158% for 1 round. Again, a lot over here in skill 2. I'll break it down all together and it'll make more sense as I get through it. Over here, burst skills 40 seconds. She's a burst 3, 7 doors fully active. Over here, affects self. Attack damage is 84.48% for 10 seconds. 7 doors fully active. The function is increases the max lock-on targets and the ammo loaded by auto fire ready, but also increases the charge time. The effect is, again, number of uses is 2. Fixes the charge time 3.2 seconds continuously. The max lock-on targets is increased by 10. Remember, the max lock-on targets is 5. Now it's 10, hence 15. That's why it's 5 originally, right? So she takes that much time, she locks on, she unleashes. Again, take a look, right? So you understand how this works. 15. What she's doing is she's locking on, and then the base big boom attacks. Then, again, take a look, big boom attacks. Now over here, you're still firing whatever, but you're getting that once all 5 is reached, then it fires the big boom. That's sort of how the character works, right? Now, at least that's a little bit clearer, I think, for the first segment of lock-on. That's a little bit clearer for you, and that's why auto-fire ready. It ammo loaded. Once it loads all those bullets, then it fires, depending on how it loads, too. Because, again, it could be one target on screen. It loads up until then, and then it scales off of that. Fixes charge time at 3.2 seconds continuously. Up again, 10. Max ammo loaded on alpha already goes up by also 10. Removal condition is when the number of uses reaches 0. Then it removes all of this over here. So once those, it'll only activate once these 2 uses are hit. Once that's hit, then it's done. Affects all destructible projectiles. Deals 41.9% of final attack as damage. That's pretty much how this works like that, okay? So, in essence, this character is designed like this. When in full burst, pretty much what you're picking up is, you're picking up the 84% attack damage. On destructible projectiles, you're picking up the 41%. You're increasing her burst to range out to as many, let's say 15 targets, as much as you can, and rail them with as much damage as you can, okay? Without the burst active, that 84% doesn't exist. Outside of that, you're pretty much picking up between all the stuff, I think it's mathed out right now, to around like 170-ish%, with Pierce, okay? Basic attack damage, and that triggers every 1 second or something like that. It says it somewhere 1.2 seconds continuously. So it triggers upon that, okay? Now, the other part is with the when full charge is reached again, okay? You're then picking up an additional set of percentages, which is that 40% skill damage, and then again some other 100% over here final attack damage. That's there too. So she's picking up an insane amount of damage outside of her burst. When bursting, she adds up an additional 84% for a giant nuke, and then that additional 41% outside of that, right? And continuously, every 1.2 seconds, that's triggering, attacking, and sort of going about it kind of that way, right? Beyond that, she also has, as like an overarching buff, right? She has damage to parts, right? She also has damage taken, which I'm going to be blind now to find. Damage taken right there. 4.12% damage taken. She has lock on this. So this is the 105 I'm talking about. This is the 41%, which is that's a constant, right? That's continuously trickling. The 41% of that final attack is that. What I'm looking for is her damage to parts. Is that on this one or the next one? Yeah, damage to parts 62%. So she's getting 62% of damage to parts now. Then on top of that, she also gains, what is it? Activates during full charge. So full charge gains Pierce for 5 seconds, which again is continuously happening. So you're continuously gaining Pierce. Here, 46.84% stacked. Remember that stacked with when entering burst stage 3, 73% for 10 seconds. So that's also there. And then the additional charge damage and sequential attack damage adding in. So every time she's slowly triggering, where is it? She's slowly triggering those buffs constantly. She has those damage parts. She has damage taken. Every time she procs that, every time she auto fires, every time she locks on, you're again gaining those buffs slowly, right? As we math it out, we'll have more of an answer, but I think I've explained it a little bit better. She has pretty decent attack values and everything. She should, like, logically be good, right? Logically, she should be okay in bossing, very good in bossing. She is, like, clearly attacking multiple things, so I think good in bossing, very good in bossing. And then obviously in mobbing should be even better, right? Theoretically, because it's, again, like a freaking nuke she has. But on paper, there's a lot to kind of go with here. I know that Reddit posted about this. I'm going to see if they have any, like take here to expand on. And yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. She is not manual intensive, by the way. I know that a lot of players are scared because of sniper rifle. There's a lot of gimmicks there. She is not by any means manual intensive because of lock-on. Lock-on will pretty much almost guarantee the attack to go through, and because of that, it will make sure that the attack is traced, which is super nice. Jumping and other things may affect the cycles because, again, it depends on locking on and all that stuff, that the percentages may be lower. So it depends on the boss you're going against. Will be like the entire breakdown of can she hit higher damage and such. But this dude wrote like a really good comment. I'm gonna see if I can get the TLDR out of it. But post initial write-ups, Pierce is one of the most powerful weapon properties in the game. Being compatible with Bunny, Aid, or Grave is a very good thing that she reduces some B2 pressure and gives her some lower investments or alternate team options like just use Crown. Her lock-on mechanics on a single target are like 80% of a conventional double tap attack that we've seen a lot of other Nikkes. On stage play, she hits a bunch of enemies fairly consistently, and when bursting, she hits a lot of enemies and she hits hard. Do not expect performance similar to base Snow White out of her burst shots. She will not hit anywhere near as hard as the initial shot. TLDR 10 10 10, maxed all possible charge speeds, OLs, attack, and alley lines. So, Lamau. But Snow White's our best new stage play sniper. Revolutionary be about as revolutionary as SPS was, if not more so. She's water, by the way, so I wonder where she's going to team up, because Estoro is there for the water thing, and that's going to be a little bit weird, which makes her, so it says, I think it's probably a big burst at the end, which makes her a little weaker versus bosses, but probably not as much because she's still piercing and seems to be using Liberalio tech. I'll need to consult the motion register for more, but for the most part, I would say that on paper, she looks very good. The lock-on, we have to also see, because, yeah, it locks on 15, and that's going to be, like, the weird thing here, but on paper, she should be very strong. I don't know. Let me know what you think altogether, but it's just like an early analysis. I think that I brought a little bit of a better answer, or broke it down a little bit better for you. It's, there's a lot of stuff here. It's pierce damage as well. It's like a lot of raw attack buffed into it, a lot of charge damage, a lot of at least making it manual less intensive there. But it's your take. Let me know what you think. But yeah, there's a lot of math here. This will take forever. Like, if you want me to math it, I'll see you later tonight to break this down with all the homies and do that. But yeah, let me know what you think. She looks very powerful, and she looks like I don't know. Theoretically, she should be mobbing better, but she should still, because of Pierce, bossing should be where she goes, right or no? Because you see, like, a freaking nuke she has for mobs, should be that, but we'll see. All right, take care. Wait till obviously testing occurs, and then make your decision. Take care. Have fun. That's been it for me.